What's up, Bucs Report? What's up, Bucs Report? Bucs Report.
Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. First and goal, gotta tough it out. Get in the end zone and call a hot route. O-line to beat, Mike down the street. And have Humphreys run right underneath. You know it's Bucs ball, we got the hardest D. Bring the pressure to the QB. You know it's routine, we got hard grease. Welcome to Tampa, welcome to Gerald. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Reppin' for my team. Go Bucs, go Bucs. You know we want the ring. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Welcome to the Bay. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Tune in with Buccaneer Blake. Bucs back, we can run and talk. Mike Evans looking like Randy Moss. And Jameis making play after play. On the defense, you can't stop Levante. On my boy McCoy, who you can't avoid. At the Raymond James, you about to feel the pain. You a Bucs fan, make a lot of noise. If you a Bucs fan, make a lot of noise. Go Bucs.
Frank, first in the room. That's what I'm talking about, Frank. Front and center, sir. Give it a second to roll. And we will get to business as usual. All right. Crystal, welcome to the show. Miss Crystal Morgan, welcome you guys. Welcome everybody. Let's get this rolling. And now you know how I always do this. I just have one question. Is this thing rolling? Yes, it is. Welcome back to a Thursday edition of BUCnBLAKE Sports with your host, Mr. Buccaneer Blake himself, coming out of BucsReport.com, coming out of my corner in Dunedin, Florida. Out here doing my thing for a couple years now, getting on with Bucs Report. Couldn't ask for a greater group of guys, fun to be around, things to talk about and all that stuff, and get to talk about Bucs, whether it's good or bad. It's mostly been bad the past 10 seasons, but at least we all got something in common, a passion for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we got to get into the preliminaries before we get into the nitty-gritty, so save all those good questions. Greenville. I've been out to Geechee Town, Columbia, South Carolina. I used to do a couple things out there, hang around. Let us know where you're from. Of course, he said South Carolina. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska, moved to North Carolina, and then moved to Philadelphia, and then moved down here to Tampa Bay. Been a Bucs fan since for a long time. If you say I sit in 147, I don't know where you guys sit in the stadium, post it up. Maybe you didn't know somebody that's watching sits in your section. Let's go into the sponsors. Please show some of our sponsors some love by checking out the Rat Pet Sports Show, Rich Kid Money Bear, Woodham Insurance. Please, those guys make these things possible and check them out. And I'll give you guys all the updates on where you can find them at as well. Also give a lot of love to our other sponsors that you may not know we're involved with. Lids in St. Pete, Tyrone Square Mall, store 7002, something like that. Contact Christopher Shaw, 727-381-4820. Receive a 10% off with your first purchase when you mention Bucs Report or Buccaneer Blake or Buccaneer Blake, either one you want to do. It's Alpha Omega Contracting, the first and last name in contracting. Check them out at www.sunroofcontractor.com or dial 813-NEW-ROOF or 813-NEW-HOME. If you mention Bucs Report or Buccaneer Blake Sports, receive $250 off your first service. Contact name is Eric White. Also, please check out all my other Bucs Report members. They work tirelessly hard putting news articles out and stuff like that. Some of you guys get annoyed with them, but it's all opinionated stuff, and they're sparking interesting conversations. That's what a lot of it is. So please don't take a lot of offense to stuff like that. What's up, Johnny Dean? Too, when they talk about issues, they're just talking about topics. Check out Sunday night, Midnight Madness with Bill Siebert. Tuesday is Taco Tampa Tony. Tony's Take at 8 and 8:30. And then BritBucs Bites 1 to 1:30. Tony's Take, he always gives a lot of passion, has guest performances and stuff. Hopefully I can get one of my own. I ain't gonna give that out now. I'll wait till that's valid to do. But you always check out Tampa Tony and the Ramblin' Rossi Posse. You really need to change it to Tony's wife's take because she's taking over a show. Wednesday nights, Bill and Larry's show, weekly wrap up, 8:30 p.m. Thursday is, of course, me between 7 to 8, the BUCnBLAKE Sports Show. A lot of it's probably been rotating between Thursday and Saturdays because my work schedule with that now. So I'm going to always update the website and stuff like that. Saturdays is Peter Blake, the Sports Web, from 3 to 6. Peter always gives 110% with Sean, the Sports Don, or Buck What You Heard. He has a lot of people on there, Doug. Peter does a lot of good things. And then he does the day after show at 9 p.m. So always make sure to check him out. Peter's always got stuff going on. So with all that being said, let's start off. Bucs versus the Redskins. What did we learn? What was good? What was bad? Yeah, it's going to be Amy's take. You're right, Dean. She's slowly taking over the show. She thinks she's slick, but I see what she's doing. She's slowly trying to push Tony out the picture. Tony, I'm an advocate for you, buddy. I'm an advocate. What do we call it? Amy's awesome take? Amy's arsenal? You should get something. Amy's take. Well, check out some of your comments now. Chris said Liz, Amy's take. Eli coming to the Bucs. I don't know about all that. If he's gonna go anywhere, Jason is going to be Jacksonville. Bucs fan since '76 when I lived here. I wasn't born, unfortunately, when the hell that was going on. But yeah, that's a long time. That's tenured member, Mr. Jeff. Tenured member. So we'll talk about what did we learn that game. We learned a lot about ourselves. We learned that no matter how many yards you put up, it doesn't matter unless you're putting points on the board. When we put up 500 total yards in offense, the Saints put up 500 total yards in offense. And what do you think the difference was? The score. They put up 52 points. We only put up 3. Turnovers and miscues, we'll do that for you. And the Redskins played how am I going to word this? The Redskins played the mirror image of bend but don't break. Give up 500 yards of total offense and only give up 3 points. That's fine. Any offense can have 500 yards of offense and give up 3 points. I'll take that all day with a win. Ironically, I brought up a lot of things with about Alex Smith and Jameis Winston comparison. You see how Alex Smith won't throw an interception. He'll take sacks and throw the ball away. Because Alex Smith used to be a turnover monster too when he was younger, and then he had a coordinator or a head coach that taught him how to change his game. And I think Winston could do the same thing if he's got the right direction to do that, and of course want to take after the advice given to him, which I think he does. He's learned a lot from Fitzpatrick, and I know a lot of people were trying to. I was posting this article today. They were trying to make it seem like Winston, sits the bench and doesn't support his team, which is truly false. He supports everybody up and down, whether he's benched or whether he's not, and he's a motivated person, regardless of how you feel about him or what position you want to put him in. But he does learn a lot from the stuff when people teach him stuff. But what we learned in that game is we no longer have the deep ball available to us. We don't have the opportunities like we did at the beginning of the season. The reason why is that because people didn't think we would stretch the ball out. When you see week 1 and week 2, when we were able to get the ball deep a lot, and and then they started figuring out what Dirk Koetter and Monken's play calling style was. It was a lot of deep throws, so they play that now. They play deep, and they let us get that mid to short range throws and come up and make the tackles, or hopefully make us get a turnover, which we've been good at doing. We should be able to run the ball. How far these corners and safeties and stuff are playing off. We should be able to pound the ball between the tackles, but we showed a lot in the Redskins game that we pass block, run block, and we just haven't been good run blocking, period. We have spurts of moments, but when we need it at critical times, we're unable to do that. And that's just, it's just been the story of the season. And, I watch Adrian Peterson run rampant. We could have had Adrian Peterson. I guess we were too good to pick him up. Or maybe he didn't want to come here. There's a lot of answers I don't have. But I don't think we were very much interested in Adrian Peterson because I'm sure we could have found a way here. Him and Winston have history of them working out each other at Peterson's facility out in Houston. So I don't think that would have been an issue with bringing him here, knowing we lack a running game here. So it's just always been the stable, the story here in Tampa Bay that we miss out on opportunities that we should miss out. To think the importance of having a pass rush on how many years we've been missing out on that and how bad we've been wanting it. We had a chance to go get, Khalil Mack. All it took was 2 first-round picks. And, that could have changed the aspect of the pass rushing ability in this team and ultimately helped the secondary not having to cover so much. And you could play a lot more aggressive play calling because, your pass rush is getting there. Much wise Denver has so much success for them years with DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller pass rushing. I think anybody in the secondary would love that because, you don't have to cover for more than 3 seconds. So you can play aggressive on routes. You don't really have to play conservative, which that's why I think a lot of our success with our corners and stuff, they have to play conservative. They can't play aggressive because we don't consistently get pressure there. We have done a lot better this year. I'm not going to sit here and entirely bash the team. There's moments where we get a lot of pass rush and there's moments where we don't. So I think we're out-coached a lot in the games. We're out-coached. I think whoever we bring in here next would have to be somebody strong. That would have to be somebody that knows how to put this team in the right direction. And it would have to be more than just a 2-year deal and everybody demands success overnight. That's not how a successful program works. It's a building process. And even with the Redskins, with Gruden, Jay Gruden, they took their time with him. They had their ups and downs and it's just a wild situation here, but we just couldn't get anything right against the Redskins, and it was just a rough game to watch. It's just watching it just deteriorate. With 7 games left, it's a possibility. Brandon Native, okay, watching that in Oklahoma City. I'm just gonna check out some of your comments because I was kind of rambling there for a long time. I learned that Dirk Koetter is about himself and not the rest of the team. And that's pretty much what a lot of the players been like. They're about themselves and not the rest of the team. And that's kind of something I want to talk about, and a motivational thing I want to talk about. Ron, that's a valid point. Well, the only personal reason Dirk Koetter would take over the coaching is because that you're going to be terminated at the end of the season. And you would want to take credit for the offensive success. So when you go on to a new job, you'll get hired as an offensive coordinator and possibly be employed somewhere else. That's the only reason why he'd be so selfish. Peterson wouldn't get the touches with us. Who's going to beat him out for it, Dean? I haven't seen anybody on this roster that would. Arians be a dream coach for Winston. Yep, Arians I think would be a good mentor. He likes to take risk, and he's a good motivator and he's a good team builder. I'm not sure his situation with his health issues. I think that's why a lot of the reasons he stepped away. But I hope somebody like that would come. Darian Garcia, Dirk is trash, dude. He should have been go years ago. Absolutely, he was supposed to be the Winston whisperer, but ironically, he's been the Winston destroyer. And Winston done a little bit to help himself with that, but that's ultimately why we kept him. And, ironically, Dirk never wanted Winston, he wanted Mariota. And I know a lot of you will say you wanted Mariota from Winston, but let's be honest about the situation here. The Bucs should have done what the Titans have done. The Titans built a successful situation for Mariota to be in. He has an option to take the load off his shoulders with 2 good running backs, receivers, the defense, which we've done the total opposite. We've lacked on defense. We have no running game. All you have is your receivers. We've done the exact opposite. You can't protect your quarterback. You can't run the ball to take pressure off your quarterback and passing attempts off your quarterback. And then we can't stop anybody from moving the ball up and down the field. You've done the exact opposite of what the Titans have done with Mariota. And I really don't know if Mariota will be successful. I know he'd be injured a lot because the offensive line can't block. And Mariota is very fragile. Lack of discipline, yeah, Jeff, that's true. And it's from the head coach. You have a guy, and I've said this already. I'm not going to keep going into it. Your head coach is not a motivational. Our guy is not can't motivate anybody. He can't motivate a tin can, a turkey. He couldn't motivate anybody. It's just insane. We learned that Koetter needs to stick to his job and let Monken do his. And that's the funny part, Dean. That's all Koetter wants to be is offensive coordinator, and the fact that Monken is better at him than that is driving him insane. Winston will stay here and become a great player. He just needs to get a real coach. This team and this franchise needs a real coach. They need a direction and motivation to get somewhere where we're beyond where we're at. What did we learn? What do we learn? We need to learn waiting for Harbaugh. There's no reason for Harbaugh to leave unless you're talking about the one in Baltimore. If you're talking about the one in Michigan, there's no reason for him to leave somewhere. Coaching your team, your alma mater, is the dream highlight of your career. And there is no reason for that man to leave here to come coach Tampa Bay. All right, we got through everybody. I want to make sure I hit everybody because I was going on for a little minute there. Moving on. And I have to say, one of my favorite parts is the breaking point. The breaking point in that game is when we had a slight chance of hope, and then Jacquez Rogers was catching passes in that drive, and the ball got punched out by Ryan Anderson. Roll Tide, Alabama, punched out and went to the end zone, was recovered. That was the breaking point. I was going to say the breaking point was the first series where we were driving down the field, looking like we were going to go up on points early, and Fitzpatrick overthrew the running back to Josh Norman in the end zone to turn over the ball, and then he returns it for like 30 yards. I was going to say that, but I have to say the Jacquez Rogers fumble into the end zone was the breaking point in the game when it was over. All the air got sucked out of everybody, the fans to the players. You're right, Ron. I hear you, John. I hear you. It's just not going to happen. Oh, missed 30-yard field goals. I wouldn't even say that was the breaking point. Even if we got the field goals, we still lose the game because we couldn't put the ball in the end zone. Koetter was kept for one reason, to develop Winston. He failed. Winston is a play-action quarterback, and we do the opposite. Ron, how are you going to play action if we don't run the ball? I'm agreeing with you, though, by the way. What's the point of play action if you don't run? Why would I buy a play action fake if you don't run the ball? That's why I'm not head coaching. I'm obviously not smart enough to know that. It's a dude, I'm preaching it. I'm just telling exactly how I hear it. I see it, man. Winston isn't the guy. Winston isn't the guy he should be at this point. I agree, Matt. I agree. You're not going to hear an argument out of me. Winston Destroyer? Oh, yeah. He's not where he needs to be, Matt. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend and sit up here, saying benching Winston at the time wasn't the right thing. I really, like I told you before, I really don't know what the right thing is anymore. With this team, there's no direction. Nobody knows where we're going. We're going up, or we going down. Are we going east, or are we going west? It's been the same story that I've been preaching since I've started doing this live streaming and talking about the Bucs. We have no identity. We say we're a passing team now. At the beginning of the season, you said we were going to run the ball for 100 and 150 yards a game. That slowly disappeared. Well, that quickly disappeared. Their head coach has no plan. Our GM has no plan. Our owners have no idea who the next head coach GM is going to be. We could fire everybody just like I want and everybody else wants, but who do we have? What's your contingency plan? Are you actively talking to people right now so we have a plan in the movement and get things going? I don't think so. I think we do everything by chance. We do everything by chance, and by chance is killing us, passing us opportunities. The Glazers need to figure out what identity they want to build. And, sadly, Malcolm passing away, he had an image, and that's why we won the Super Bowl. He had an image. He wanted a guy to mold the franchise, and Tony Dungy. Sadly, Tony Dungy wasn't the one to reap the benefits of the roster he built here in Tampa Bay, but he had an image here that he wanted to be a strong defensive team and eliminate turnovers on offense and win close games. And that's ultimately what we were when we won the Super Bowl. We weren't put the Raiders played what we played in the Super Bowl, but it's just crazy. We need an image. We need to find out what we are, what we're going to be. So when we start to build things in one direction, we bring another coach in and he has a whole nother image, and then we got to keep changing, in and out of what we want to do and what we don't want to do with these with these players and people we draft, because we're just wasting time right now, just doing things year to year without no discourse on what direction we want to go with this team. I'm tired of doing that. I would rather you spend all your picks and free agents on an offensive line and money and stuff like that and build. That's where the game is won. If you can have a good offensive line and own the line of scrimmage on both offense and defense, then everything else can fall into place. Tom Brady has proven that you don't need. Well, I don't really know if his offensive line is that good because he gets rid of the ball so fast, but Peyton Manning is thrived on, have pass protection and owning the line of scrimmage and running the ball when you need to run the ball. And the Broncos and the Giants proved and beating the Patriots. And the Giants had terrible third string corners when they beat the Patriots, the 16-0 Patriots, but they had an immaculate defensive line, and ultimately that defensive line is what got them the Super Bowl. And if you're in a passing league, you have to be able to get to the passer. That is where you're going to succeed at in this league. It's not picking up corners and everybody. I mean, they help if it's a piece that you need when you already have the other intangible pieces that's going to help that. Cogs all have to work together. When one cog doesn't work or breaks, you take that cog out, then you put the new cog that fits exactly into that, just like a puzzle piece, and keeps winding the machine. We need that. We don't have any cogs that fit together. We don't have them pieces that fit together to make us whatever we are, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or whatever that's going to be. If any of what I'm saying is making sense. No one wait, hold on. Johnny, what you talking about here? No one would beat him out, Blake. We don't call run plays enough for AP. Oh yeah. I mean, I agree. I'm not arguing that at all. Are we talking about? Okay, Rob. I'm sorry. I'm just scrolling back on your guys' comments. Like I said, I ramble and I forget. Jason Light neglected the defense for years. Not just Jason Light. Everybody else has as well. But, and that was kind of, Lovey kind of set that into motion because he did the opposite of what he is. Lovey was a defensive coordinator, but he knew he had to put points on the board, so he wanted to get offensive pieces and then start building the defense, which I think we should have done an opposite like the Browns did. Built the defense and then get the offense later, because now they got their defense. They can get pressure with 4, and now they have a quarterback now, and that I could think can move the ball and a great running back. So I think they got the right pieces, and they got pretty decent offensive line. So, a lot of teams are moving in the right directions, which we aren't. We're still firing coaches and trying to find other quarterbacks. We've got nowhere. In 10 years, we're in the same exact position. Believe it or not, we're in the same exact position. We learned that Dirk is about himself. I'm just scrolling through. So Dirk was successful OC in Atlanta and Matt Ryan. Yeah, because that's all he did was call plays. That was his only focus, and that's what he's good at. Yeah, Matt, you're right. Starting Jason at this point would be a no-brainer. I'm not sure. We'll talk about that later. How about, okay, D, what do you want to bet on that? We'll talk later. Hit me up. What you want to bet on the Harbaugh that he's not going to be here in 2019? Winston would be playing to show his worth, but not with Koetter as a coach. He could run him to the ground. Absolutely. Exactly. Looking for his own. Jim, just not head coach material. You're talking about Koetter, Jeff. Ownership panicked when they signed him to be a head coach. Was afraid of losing him. It was because Lovey was getting this team in the right direction. He's built a Super Bowl team before he knows what it takes. And I'm just upset more that we didn't get to see the finishing results of what he was trying to do. It was cut short after 2 seasons. You're not going to get anything done in 2 years with the worst team in the league unless you're Andy Reid. And ultimately, we hired Lovie Smith over Andy Reid. Again, another opportunity missed. John Lynch going to be a GM or whatever position he wanted over in San Francisco. We missed out on that. Our homegrown guy, we let walk somewhere else. We keep over and over passing up successful situations here. Why? Because we're focused more on Manchester United. Darian Winston Destroyer, yeah, we talked about that. Winston is the guy, we talked about that. Koetter was kept for one reason, to develop Winston. He failed Winston. We talked about that. John Harbaugh. Let me go from the top on down. Oh, Lord, you boys are going at it. 2015, the Bucs ran the ball with authority. That's a huge mission part of the offense. This is Ron. Could you imagine the plus passing attack we have now? Yeah, I could imagine it. It makes me excited thinking about it right now, Ron. You don't want to make that. You don't want to make that bet, Blake. I ain't never scared, Dean. We'll talk. You are correct. Nothing improves if you can't get continuity. And you said it right there in that short sentence, Matt. Harley High. The defense was supposed to use the platoon method of the line, and that all fell apart. Yep, that did. I get what you're saying. It was supposed to be the base piece of the defense, but it didn't work out to help all the other levels of the defense. I get what you're saying. 7-step drive, waiting for the long routes to develop, is not the offense Winston needs. Running game with play action, that's Winston's strength. And rollouts. He's one of the highest rated passers in the league in scrambling plays and when he's outside the pocket. You sound like you think the GM is failing. All the planning and direct comes from the general manager. It's Peter Blake's in here. Let me salute. It's a lot of things, man. It's hard to put blame on one person because there's a lot of things that's not said that us, the people, don't have answers to. All we can know is pretty much looking at the end product and what's put in front of us when cameras on, and all that is basically scripted. What they're going to say, very few coaches say their opinions, and and I respect them for that because they say the stuff that they really feel and some things that they need to hear. But we're in 2018, and you can't really say the things that you want to say because people get so offended now. So you're bringing up a lot of good things, Matt. The Rams were fearing golf was a bust, and then they hired a coach that featured his strength. Very good point, Ron. A lot of people counted Jared Goff off. Lo and behold, you got a running back that can support him, a defense that can give him opportunities, and you put other pieces around him that would be successful. That's a good comparison. I talked about Mariota earlier. You build a successful situation for a young quarterback. Man, you win cups. Lovey coming in said was a 3-year process to win games. He said that from the get-go, Ron. And you has been neglected. Glazers are probably seeking them, selling them. I don't know. But they have the most wealthiest team in the world, Manchester United. I do know that for a fact. Did we get into this? You guys talking about? See, we got on this topic. Do we keep Winston or do we move on? Do we keep Winston one more year? Or do we move on? I'm not going to ramble much long into this one. You guys got me. Y'all are killing me here, especially with Matt. Ron is on fire today. And then Johnny over there want to test my gangster. I was waiting for one of y'all to say something. Will we keep Winston one more year, or is that it? Okay, Winston's a bust. I can't argue much about that. He only has one winning season in 4 years, 97, It didn't look too hot. Suspense and definitely hurt his image and what I could try to say right now. So you're not really going to hear too much arguing out of me about the whole Winston situation because he has really one more year to prove it. I cannot see him being here again. Okay, we need the team president. We keep Winston. All right, I'll answer now. We do something we never do. You finish out what you started. You drafted Winston in the first round. He has 5 years. If the $20 million is what he has to take, then you pay the $20 million. Now slow your roll before. Let me finish. The reason you just let Winston take his $20 million is because Mike Glennon makes $18 million sitting in Arizona. In this league, quarterbacks get paid $18 to $20 million. So unless you plan on bringing another rookie quarterback here, the cost of a quarterback on a franchise is $18 to $20 million, no matter who it is, unless you want to go sign Jay Cutler. And even he's going to ask you for $14 million to play for this team. So that's what the cost of the quarterback is. So if Winston can improve his last year in his contract, we'll make that decision then. And even then, I would only give him an incentive-based contract based on off-field things, and I would do it off turnovers. So what he's bad at, I would have some incentive in his contract that if he has under a certain amount of interceptions, fumbles, I can't say because it's not all his fault, because we have an offensive line that constantly gets beat, and you're leaving your quarterback vulnerable. So I don't want to put that all on quarterbacks that fumbles, because it's just what it is in this league. But the interceptions definitely, and off-field issues. What do you guys think about that? I think definitely the interceptions. If that's incentive-based in his contract, I think he would take more conscientious in paying attention where he's throwing the ball or gambling when it's his pockets that are going to take the hit. And definitely the off-field thing, which I don't think will be an issue, but it'd be more the interceptions. Need to invest in the D. Winston. We need to help. We need to keep Winston. Yeah, for one more year, Tony. Like, you keep him you finish out what you started. Something we don't ever do. Finish it out. Finish it out. Make a decision after that. If you want to bring Fitz back, you want to bring another veteran back, then do it. I'm not opposed to that. If you want to draft another quarterback in the later rounds, or you want to draft a quarterback in the early rounds, whatever that decision is, you just make it. Just finish out. Finish something out. We don't ever do. Winston hasn't matured as a player or a man. The Uber driver stuff isn't going to happen again. It's in his DNA. Man, I don't know how educated you are on the situation. I'm not coming at you personally. I'm just saying. I'm just asking, or I'm just making a statement. I don't know how educated you are on the situation. It wasn't something that happened recently. If this had happened now while Winston is 24 years old, I wouldn't be defending him. It was 21. He was with Ronald Darby. Ironically, he's always in trouble when he's with Ronald Darby, and Ronald Darby was hanging around with a guy who was on bail for a rape case. So that whole night was a disaster. But he was 21 years old at that time. I'm not excusing him grabbing him, whether he did or he didn't. I don't know. I wasn't there. Nobody can prove that he was. It's allegations. I don't know. But had that happened now, I wouldn't be saying what I was saying now. But this was, I think, 3 years ago now. And you just want to bring it up now. But the news put it out to you guys as if it happened yesterday. Of course, because that's what the news does. They want to sell you a product that you want to pay attention to, and it was a product that it was paid attention to. It was sold very good to make it seem like it was brand new news that happened yesterday. But I'm not disagreeing. It's very immature. He was 21. He is immature. But it's whatever. Tampa has never given a second contract. Not even Doug Williams got paid. Oh, I agree. And Doug Williams is one of my favorite quarterbacks. He's on this wall with Steve Young, as a matter of fact. Steve Young and Doug Williams. Steve Young, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. And when I bring him up and we can let quarterbacks go, you know what they say? Oh, we didn't have a team good enough for Steve Young. So you get rid of a talent that you know is good and submit to the players that aren't good instead of building successful players around the thing that you got good. Oh, that's how we work in Tampa. We do the opposite. We don't get rid of the guys who aren't on that level. We get rid of the guy that's up here and submit to the lower level. Got it. If Winston was a kicker and had made those kicks, definitely how he can hold a lead more than wins if he can. Yeah. You know, Rob, that's tough. Get some of these. I would say keep him with the new coach and see what he does in a year. Get rid of Winston only if he starts in the process, or let him finish out his 5 years. Contract must be incentive based. I'm with you. And incentive based off turnovers and off field issues. Definitely the interceptions. Winston hasn't matured as a player. I just talked about that, Matt. Like I said, that was almost 3 years ago. Had this been brand new, I'd be agreeing with you. It's not. Big Ben's rape allegation happened twice when he was 28 years old. If Winston was 28 years old and did what Big Ben did, not only would he be in jail, but he wouldn't be on his roster anymore. Clever House let Williams go for a $300K contract. Yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the choir, Matt. You're not going to get any arguments out of me what they did to Doug Williams, and I don't think it wasn't the Glazers either. So I can't really put that on them. So let me put that out there too. That was not the Glazers that did that to Doug Williams. It was post ownership. Madden 19 predictions. As I always do, there's Madden 19 predictions. Bucs versus the Giants. Bucs win 31-21. Offense fairly moved fairly well. Didn't really turn over the ball too much. Saquon Barkley pretty much had his way. But the Bucs pulled out a victory in Madden 19, 15-minute quarters. And Madden, they win 31-21. I'll take that victory. I'll take any victory right now to get this team and these fans, motivated about the money they spent on this team. What do you guys think? Bucs keys to victory for the Giants-Bucs game. As always, this pass rush. I'm not saying that anymore. In the passing league, you have to get to the quarterback. I'm not saying that anymore. Saquon Barkley is going to catch a lot of passes out the backfield. We're really bad at covering backs out the backfield. Alvin Kamara exposed us, and that's just Alvin Kamara, and we got to play him again at home. He's going to catch a lot of passes out the backfield and catch him in the open space with these very young linebackers that we got coming out that aren't named Levante David and Quan Alexander. Hopefully Beckwith will be back, but Beckwith still doesn't have the speed to catch Barkley at 235 pounds running too and can hurdle you like a more athletic Blunt, if you want to say, LeGarrette Blunt. But you'll have to start being clever. You're going to have to establish a run game if you want to get these deep balls off, because the safeties have no reason to move down in the box. They have no reason to move down in the box to prevent deep passes. Deshaun Jackson will not get one-on-one situations because they know he's going to run right by him. So we're going to have to come up with a plan where if the corner's playing 15 yards off to 12 yards off, like you used to say Vernon Hargreaves did all the time, throw quick hitches. Throw quick screens, until that corner moves up. Keep doing that until they change their defense. Don't contour to the defense. Make them change to adjust to us. But we have to move the ball. We can't do what we normally do, get down in the red zone and start committing Donovan Smith offensive holding, letting sacks go, and all that type of stupid stuff that normally happens down in Tampa Bay. I want to see you play with soundproof game without penalties that you can control. If it's a bogus penalty that you can't control, like you're sacking the quarterback and the ref says you laid his body on him, sometimes you can't complain. Can't change that because you were pushed into a whatever situation. I'm talking about stuff that we can really control. Missed the team picture. Who are you talking about? Missed the team picture because he was hungover. Who was this? Showed up an hour late drunk to his own football camp for kids. Who? Yeah, Matt. Verger Hargreaves is looking really good because he's specializing in playing man coverage, and now we're asking him to play man coverage. Funny, we're playing a player that's to their strengths instead of their weaknesses. You're not trying to turn an apple into an orange. Funny how that works out. You look a lot better when you're letting the apple be an apple instead of asking the apple to be an orange. Crazy. Was a well-known club drunk user amongst the bar employees around Tampa. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Freeman? Who are you talking about? Josh Freeman. Is that what you're talking about? Can you give me a yes or no? Why is the first two games he did okay? Maybe a decent run game. That was a no. Jackson Winston is not a finesse quarterback. He's a baller, meaning an improved run. Okay, you are talking about Josh Freeman. I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, Frank, what you said earlier about why it worked earlier in the game is because they didn't know what kind of offense we were running. You had Fitzpatrick in. They thought we were just going to lean on the run and then let the running backs and short passing game work. And then we came out slinging the ball deep, caught everybody by surprise. So this is an unjust league. Unlike us, we don't adjust. We keep going. We're going to go with the plan no matter how, if it works or not. They adjust. So everybody knows that we want to force the ball deep. We're not interested in running the ball. We're not interested in calling screens. We're not interested in getting people in open spaces. We just want to throw the ball deep to please whoever it is they're trying to please with this methodology of thinking. But we haven't changed yet. But the league's made adjustments on us. We have not changed yet, and that's part of the reason. Now, with all these safeties and everybody sitting back, Frank, we should be able to run the ball because there's nobody in the box. But we can't get hats on anybody because we pass block on run play. You don't believe me? Watch a run play from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How often do you see them getting up to the next level, blocking a linebacker or a corner or getting up to a safety? They're done at the point of attack. Job is done to them. Or Donovan Smith looking back, watching the play, watching the back or the quarterback getting sacked while he just stands there and walks back to the huddle. Whew, I can go on forever. Winston did something stupid and wrong almost 3 years ago. We're talking about that issue. I get you. Was no club for drinking. Hargreaves was supposedly, we talked about that. Our offense is terrible when it comes to play calling. Absolutely, because we don't use players to their strength. We don't have players that are good in open space. God bless Humphreys tries. He's a little crafty, but he's not too shifty in one-on-one. Like you need a guy like McCaffrey or Koetter Samuel, like the Panthers got, that you can put people in open space and beat people in one-on-one. We don't have that kind of guy. We don't have. It all goes back to what I was saying earlier. We're going to do this process over again if we get another quarterback or we get another kid coach or whatever it is, that we don't pick up players that fit an image that we're trying to fit. Are we trying to be people that are going to pound ground and pound you? Are we going to try to air off the ball? We're trying to be all these things at once, like I talked about last week with Winston. Winston's trying to be all these people at once besides just being Jameis Winston. Just be that guy that was down at Florida State and played quarterback. Be that same guy just for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just do your job. You don't have to be kissing babies, doing running for mayor, president, commercials on TV. Just do your job, and the people will like you or they will hate you regardless. Just do your job. That's it. The same with everybody else. Just do your job. Our offense is terrible. Red zone is our kryptonite. Yep, we don't run the ball. Could it be Winston is comfortable? He certainly doesn't look like he's concerned. If he was, he would throw the ball away instead of high heat into triple coverage. He thinks he can fit balls in places that he can't. I don't think that he doesn't care and he's comfortable. He's a competitor, but he doesn't know when he's defeated. And it's not really defeat. It's living to fight another day. Throw it at the feet of your running back. Stop trying to make a play that's not there. Watching our defense is like watching my games, hitting the wrong buttons and looking awful. Yep, that's it. You're hitting engage 8, and there are 4 wide receivers. I totally get what you're saying. Kyle wants to say, is our defense problem more of a coaching or a players? You know what, Kyle? I like that question. I really do like that question. Okay. With a team full of young players, which we have from the corners to the safeties, our defensive line is our eldest position, Kyle. With that, you need to make play calling simplified. You need to give them base responsibilities. Either you're going to play man or you're going to play off and force coverage to the other defender, and hopefully he's in that zone. And a lot of our guys aren't disciplined like that. I watch a lot of tape. I'm not going to do tape today. But the situation with that is because they're not disciplined enough, and somebody said that in here earlier. They're not disciplined enough to follow simple directions. So you need to make things simpler for people to follow. And I'm not coming at these men like man-to-man thing, call them stupid or anything. For a bunch of young people, a lot of things move real fast until things start slowing down. What is the problem with Ronald Jones? Sadly, when he got injured, the things started slowing down for him. Now he can make these steps and these moves. Things move 100 miles an hour, and with all that going on and adjustments with calls, and you're trying to think of what you're supposed to do in the coverage, you forget to just play football. And that's why I say I think when you're very young, you need to do things simpler here, and I think that's what we don't do here. We don't adjust the game planning because you can give up yards without giving up big plays and touchdowns. It's fine to give up yards. You live in a passing league. You're not going to knock down every pass. So I have to think it's with game planning, a lot of it, because lo and behold, You don't call different defense every game. It's about your game planning. You try to take away what your team is good, the team you're playing against is good at doing, and you want to take away from that, and then know what the other parts they're going to try to go to, and that's the part you try to adjust to. We try to adjust to the game entirely instead of trying to limit them in an area and limit their offense. We don't game plan for that. We just game plan to play the game, if that makes any sense. I've watched Vita Vea get mauled and moved 3 yards into the end zone on a running play. He's supposed to be a run blocker. I don't know what video you're watching. You may have watched one play where you seen Vita Vea just get knocked back on his ass like he was Chris Baker, who was actually at that game, Matt. But when Vita Vea is in the game, we get more sacks. We've got more pressures. He's missed out. He's got 2 sacks last week. He should at least have 4 to 5 sacks, but because he's too busy shoving his guy into the backfield and the quarterback steps around him and somebody else gets a sack. So I don't know what play you're watching where Vita Vea is just getting shoved in the end zone. You know what? You might have saw a play where he did get shoved in the end zone. He may have lost footing that play. The guy just might have got under him that play. You're not going to win every battle. You're out there for long periods of drives. You're tired as hell. The guy just might have got better on him. I'm not going to sit up here and say this man wins every battle, but I know the battles I've watched, he ain't losing them. He's winning a lot more than he's losing. So if you want to base it off of one play that you saw, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to try to change your mind because me and you see games totally different. I watched game replay, so I see who was winning and who's losing with up close zoom in, not watching it off the TV from the far back view so I can see. I watch it up close view so I know what I'm seeing, and he ain't getting beat, not like that. It was one play. I'm just saying it looked bad, and I'm not disagreeing, man. I'm not disagreeing with you. There might be a play he lost the battle. He might have lost the battle. But in the plays that he's in, he's getting double teamed a lot of the time, and he's holding the line of scrimmage. You're not going to beat people all the time in double teaming. You got to hold your ground, though. You got to hold your ground. He is starting to get close to the QB. And that's why I say a lot of it's with Bunker. I watch a lot of things. What he was coaching with Coach Buckner was telling him just to blow up the backfield, not so focus on so many things, to give up leverage to one thing. He shoves them guards back into the 3 yards back, man. So he closes that pocket. Now he hasn't gotten that good yet where he can slide off of it and get sacks. Hopefully that gets better over time. But you just pay attention. When McCoy was out, we got a lot of pressure and we got a lot of sacks, basically off the back of Vea. And everybody, like I said, you can't just base things off of just sacks. You can make the play without making the sacks. Carl Nassib will tell you that. He even said to Vea, he said, did I make it there? Did I beat you there first? And he's gotten sacks off of Vea's back. So that's part of a lot of success that Carl Nassib's had. Besides his work ethic, he's got something to prove. Be 2 blockers to get a sack. Yeah. This is a lot of people keep saying he sucks. He's doing his job, man. Like, it's not as defensive tackles aren't supposed to get sacks. Their job is to disrupt. Like, that's why I said when people are talking about Gerald McCoy, be that as man, I'm not going to get into that argument. There's only 4 tackles on the top sack leaders since the past 10 years, and he's one of the 4. The only other 2 that are actual defensive tackles are Ndamukong Suh, who has them by slight margin of sacks. Bengals defensive tackle Geno Atkins, and Rams Aaron Donald. 4. There's only 4 defensive tackles that are leading the league in sacks, like total sacks and career sacks. Only 4. So that shows you right there the defensive tackles aren't made to get sacks in this system. They're meant to cause pressure. Who has a bigger game this week, Kyle? You're not going to get the ball deep. Everybody's going to play the same defensive game plan. Until we change our offensive game plan, I think Mike Evans comes back with a vengeance, though. I think he comes back. Deshaun Jackson's checked out mentally. He's here for a paycheck. And if you want to bring Le'Veon Bell in, we're just swapping one for another. Le'Veon Bell's showing he's here for the money. You've bailed out on your teammates to get paid. Now, granted, I'm not going to tell a man to not make more money, but at some point, you can't sell yourself short for a paycheck. And that's part of the motivation thing I said. Don't sell yourself short for a paycheck. And I think a lot of people sell themselves short for a paycheck. You miss out on opportunities and things like that and sell yourself short to sell your worth just for a paycheck, to go wherever you want and just be there to play. And I think if he comes to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's going to be just that. This man is going to have no heart in that play. He's going to be here for that $20 million or whatever we give him, and that is it, just like Deshaun Jackson is here. And Grimes, he's really not getting beat. I don't think he's a bust. He had no precinct if he get back. Yeah, he's getting it slowly over time, Matt. What's your thoughts on what the organization should do after this year, Devin? I think the organization is in shambles right now. I agree. Too many good players have passed on scouting department, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I kind of touched on that earlier. I'm not sure when you came in, Devin. That's because we keep switching head coaches. We keep switching GMs. Well, I ain't going to say keep switching, but we do that. You can't bring no continuity in this team. Our continuity here is being consistent and being inconsistent. That's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Consistent and being inconsistent. And you can't bring players in an image here if you don't have one. That's the one thing Malcolm Glazier, before he died, the late Malcolm Glazier, he wanted an image. He got players here that fit that image, and we still love those players today because they fit that image. We don't have an image here. We keep moving people in and out, in and out, in and out. NASA, yeah, he's getting there, but a lot of his sacks, Jeff, was, like I said, all via Vea. Actually, there's a cancer in the locker rooms and always in Koetter's ear. That's why Koetter doesn't try to put Jameis back in. Whatever. Jim McCoy ain't winning. We paying too much money. Vida is not all that. I blame Jason Light for missing in the draft. I know a lot of people wanted Light hire as the head coach. I know a lot of people wanted Derwin James here, but we already had our Derwin James here called Mark Barron. Mark Barron is on a successful team right now. Has been successful since he's left the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why? Because we wanted an apple to be an orange. He wanted a box safety to be a cover deep safety. That's what we would have asked Derwin James to be. Don't play people to their strengths. So how do we fix the situation? You're talking about the franchise, Sharif? How do we fix it? All right, I'll answer that. If you want to stick with Light, how was I answer this correctly? Our owners aren't involved enough, and I don't know if it's the Sons and whoever's running the thing, the show now, don't have the same energy their father does, or doesn't have the passion that their father had when they won the Super Bowl here in a short time. He won a Super Bowl fairly quickly when he took over the franchise, because he had an image of what the team was going to be, and that was it. And I don't think these guys have that. I think they're just shuffling around and trying to find some type of hopefully to stumble upon some stability some way somehow. But to answer the question, they need to come together and do the same thing, whether it's with Light or whether it's not with Light. And then Light hires a strong head coach. I wanted Greg Williams here. I don't think the Browns are going to let Greg Williams go. You can hire Hugh Jackson as defensive coordinator, as he knows how to build he knows the importance of a defensive line because he's done that out in Cleveland. You bring him in as defensive coordinator. You hire maybe Bruce Arians, somebody who's strong. You might bring Mike Holmgren in and run operations. You bring in people like that have been in successful organizations and coached average players and made them good and made bad players average. We haven't had a coach here that could do that. We had a lot of pretenders come in here and give false pretensions that they were going to come in here and make some actual substantial changes to this team, and we haven't. We have been nothing but wolf in sheep's clothing here that couldn't do the job and couldn't handle it when things get tough. You need somebody here that knows how to handle adversity when things aren't going wrong. You can look that coach in the eye and say, this man knows what to do to get us back on the right ship. Not a guy like Dirk Koetter here that you can't trust the word that's coming out of his mouth. And ultimately, that's what's setting us back in this team. And you got to start. It's got to start at the top to go down to these players. I can say all day that we need these good players, Sharif. all these good players here and all that, but it's been statistically proven that you don't need all-stars everywhere to win games. You need people that believe in the system and believe in each other and want to play for this organization and play for these fans to win games. And that's on any level, college football, high school, whatever. It's a team game. One guy cannot win you. One guy can't beat another 11 men across from them. It takes a team effort. He seems like he would be great as a head coach. Why can't we get Teddy Bruschi in? Why would he want to come here? His roots are in New England. He's played for a decent organization. Possibly we can fit him in somewhere. Get Dungy to be VP of football. Hey, now you're talking, Matt. The question is, does he want to do that? Let him work with draft and personnel. I had a good one out there, and we need to need things instead of analysts. Yep, I agree. You get somebody that's familiar with that type of system and building a team, and Dungy's good at building a team. Gruden's not good at building a team. Dungy is. What do you predict the overall record will be by the year's end? Also, what position we focus on improving next year's draft? You finish what you want that you get successful in this league, offense and defensive line. You win the line of scrimmage, you can win in a lot of games. And watch Jameis flourish. He needs to be in a successful situation. Sharif, I hope I answered your question. I know it was kind of an elongated answer. But like I said, I'm not going to do X and O's today. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about? Oh, make sure you guys sign in to BUCnBLAKESPORTS.com. Just sign up. I do giveaways. Last week I'll do a drawing where everybody subscribe to the website. So when you win the drawing, please, I'm going to send you an email. Please make sure to give me enough information to send you whatever I'm doing. Probably a hat or something. Or give away something nice from Lids. And mail it to your house from the store with your name on it and everything, and your appreciation for supporting me through all this and stuff like that. I'm not really a big guy and ask for donations and stuff like that, so that's why I've really never done that. I've been a person that doesn't like to rely on the back of somebody else or something like that. The only reason I would use that for would be to get other stuff I need, equipment or stuff like that, but I really don't need too much, so that's why I really don't put up stuff like that, nor do I charge you guys, people, to sign up to the website. That's just who I am. If anything, if I did do donations, most of it would probably go to some type of charity. I think I might do that. And I think I did one earlier for the JPP jersey that Keith Larson had won earlier, and we raised $500 and gave it to the Dream Forever Foundation, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, make sure you guys sign up to the website and stuff like that. And I appreciate you guys here. Okay, good. I'm glad you answered, Sharif. Yeah, it was an elongated answer, but that stability is the answer. That's stability, and we need to establish that. But yeah, you guys make sure to sign up for the website. I always try to do giveaways and do raffles and stuff for charity. I don't like to keep any of that for myself. That's y'all money. And if y'all want to contribute, whatever I'm trying to do, I'm grateful for it. And I'm sure whoever it goes to is grateful for it. And that's something I've been stapling on to kind of be like, what the Buck? Like, he does a lot in the community. I'm trying to do my part too. So why not? Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. We need to fix the running backs. I agree. I love running the ball. Team effort, Frank. Yep. Dungy won't work with the Glazers again. He probably won't. Yeah, we keep burning bridges. That sums that up. Let me get out of here, man. You guys are making me talk way too much. Oh, Saif. See, that's easy. What's that calling? Sharif? I'm sorry. Saif. I'm sorry. Like to pronounce the names correctly. Saif. Why can't we find a true fullback and try to open some holes for the second level? I don't disagree. We don't have an identity. We don't know what we're going to be. So whoever that next man that comes in here, I hope he has an identity of what we're going to be, and you move people. And here's the crazy part. We all love Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard. The next head coach might not want 2 tight ends. Now look at this roster. It's all getting moved around. That's why you need stability here. All right, guys. That's enough of me rambling on. I appreciate you guys, as always, checking me out every time I come up here live. Posting, hit me up, giving me good stuff and all that. Appreciate everything you guys do. Contribute and give me info. Some of the stuff I need to do better and all that type of stuff. But we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless and fire those cannons.